Hi, my name is Olayinka Fagbemiro, and I'm the founder and national coordinator for Astronomers Without Boarders, AWB Nigeria. And I'm going to talk about um, unlocking creativity in kids through Astro Art competition. This is um, talking about our experience at AWB, about how we can use astronomy art competition to unlock the creativity in kids and help them to um, understand and develop better interest in astronomy education. So before I do that, a little bit about what we do and who we are. Astronomers Without Borders Nigeria is it's a it's a non-governmental organization, and we are affiliated to the AWB International. We organize astronomical-based events on a regular basis, and what we try to do is to capture the popular imagination of the people, of children, especially create excitement and generate media attention. We also use astronomy as a tool to inspire children as a starting point for continuing STEM education in their schools. Scope also involves development of extracurricular activity that will drive STEM education in schools. We do a lot of teachers training. We do set up astronomy clubs in school, and we are involved in other science-based outreach programs that help to drive home astronomy education in Nigeria. So I'll do a little introduction about the project that we had, which was Astro Art competition. And we know that an excellent medium of teaching astronomy to kids, is especially kids from less privileged background, is through art, because it it's cheap, because it doesn't cost so much for these kids to get involved in this arts um, activities, and then this project provided for them an avenue to express their creativity. So the inspiration for this project came from the lockdown. We had that period in Nigeria where there was total lockdown for close to 6 months, and kids were at home. Some kids in from from middle class to upper middle to upper class backgrounds were able to get involved in virtual classes and activities. But then we found out that we had this very large number of kids who seem to have been cut off completely from everyone, because they don't have access to electricity, they don't have access to internet facilities. So we came up with the art competition for the kids. And then we launched this project. It was the first of its kind, and it was open to kids in elementary and high school. All the participants were within the age of 8 to 18 years. They were required to send in their entries, Astro Art paintings, and put them on A4 sized paper. We told them to accompany each of the artworks with a short write-up describing the artwork. And then in all, we had 164 entries from across Nigeria. These were entries that were very, very difficult for our judges to actually come up with the best artworks, because the imaginations of these kids were beyond, what we had thought of, because we didn't expect that they were going to be that creative. We didn't know that they had that much idea about what astronomy was about. We just wanted to have an idea how much of astronomy how much of astronomy these guys knew about, but we were blown away because we had a lot of beautiful, very beautiful entries. I'm going to show a few of such entries in my presentation. We had kids who came up with very fantastic storyline, very fantastic motivations for their drawings. It was something that was very interesting for us as an organization, because we were pleasantly surprised that kids were really getting so much from the activities that we've been having. We have a lot of astronomy education programs for kids in schools, for kids that are out of school, for kids in internally displaced people's camps. So it was very exciting when they submitted their artworks, and we saw that they actually learned a lot from the activities that we've carried out over the years. It was quite exciting, you know. And another thing is we saw that the kids pretty much had very vast knowledge of what lies in, you know, outside of our space. You know, they had so much idea. They had great understanding of what lies beyond, and they have a sense of humor. They have great sense of humor. They have a lot of imaginations, and these were things that we find to be very, very exciting. And also we realized that through hard work, we can actually be able to impart more. We can be able to get more feedbacks as to how much of astronomy that these kids are able to assimilate and understand when they are being taught. So we had these beautiful entries that were so great from these kids, and the accompanying stories too were very fantastic. A lot of those entries that we got. And then also we had a lot of lessons from this competition. We understood that kids have interesting ideas about astronomy. You know, they have very, very interesting ideas that they were able to express through hard work. These are things they were not able to, that we didn't know about, because there was never that avenue for them to be that creative. But the competition gave them that avenue to show their talent, to show their creativity in astronomy. It was quite exciting. Also, we found out that art brings out the creativity in kids. You know, they were able to imagine things. They were able to come up with a lot of drawings that show that they have deep understanding of the subject of astronomy for their level, which was quite interesting. They also asked the most intriguing questions about space. You know, they have a lot of questions that they were able to express through this art. Are there aliens? What is it like in outer space? You know, a lot of questions that they had, and they were able to bring forth through their creativity. Also, we find out that creative art presents a great avenue to teach astronomy to kids. This competition gave us made us to realize that another way we can engage with kids going forward was through art. You know, the merging of astronomy and art presented such an opportunity to learn, an opportunity for kids to understand better the subject of astronomy. And this was something that we find very interesting. Also, we have a lot of other entries on our website, if you go through our website. And then we have decided that the art competition, the Astro Art competition, will be a yearly competition where every year we have this event where kids can send in their entries, and then we hope that this year, later this year, in the last quarter of this year, when we're going to have the second edition, we are looking forward to seeing even much more exciting and interesting entries than we saw last year. Thank you.